Familiar sounds.
Hey, brother.
Hey, brother.
Oh, hey.
You're my older brother, and I love you.
Wait, I should say that to you.
Hey, brother.
Are you laughing at my brother?
No.
Hey, Romano.
You straighten my brother out.
Whatever happened to and my brother's equal?
Sheesh.
And my brother's equal? And my brother's equal?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Yo, I'm doing great. Another great week.
It's 2023, isn't it?
Sure fucking is. I said this to you on the night of the concert, but I'm still gonna write 2022 on like everything. Every email I write.
Already did that today.
No.
Yep.
Was it on something important?
Well, no, not majorly consequential, but like I emailed several vendors for a quote on a print job, and like all of them I was like, is it possible to have this done with a deadline of February 17, 2022? I even wrote that out thinking like, I'll just put the date, put the year in there so that it's very clear what we're getting at.
Just so he's absolutely sure that it's clear what I'm talking about. Meanwhile, he's more confused than he's ever been.
Nobody corrected me on it, though. Probably because they want the business.
That's right. Yeah. That's a good point. I would want that business, too.
Yeah.
You have new drops, don't you?
I do, man.
You have brother drops.
I do. Well, I would say they go beyond brother drops. I just wanted to put together a series of sounds that I feel like just give us a baseline to start things off. Want me to give you a little tour?
Send.
Okay. You'll be proud of how I arranged the drum rack over here. It's a little bit by row, so that I start to learn where everything is just off the top of my head.
And what mode is that on right now? What button is highlighted?
On your pad, it's custom.
Okay.
On my pad, it's called drums.
Oh, right. I think there's a way to actually make that so like one sector can be like your triggers and the other can be like a drum pad and the other can be like the keyboard simulator thing. I haven't figured out how to do that yet.
Yeah.
Cool. That's a good use. Sick.
Hey, welcome to the show, everybody.
Oh!
It's great to be here.
Hell yeah.
Figure we can, add that in whenever we have maybe a guest.
Yep. I like that as a guest entrance.
Works well at the end of the theme song anyway. It trails off real nice.
Hell yeah. Can you hard cut that?
I can. That's not the way that I have it set right now.
Okay.
I'm on one shot for everything, but
That makes sense.
for when one of us says some shit we think is funny and then it's not, I've got
just the weakest claps.
A couple weak claps.
That's like that's the sympathy clap at a comedy show.
Yep.
That's good.
Something controversial gets said.
Okay. Got a hard cut at the end of that clip.
Something really sad gets said.
Okay. That's not my favorite one. A little generic, but I like it.
Then we've got tell us a joke, Isaac.
How many lawyers does it take to shingle a roof?
How many?
It depends on how thin you slice them.
Oh, I pressed the wrong one. God damn it. That's not the one.
It matched,
Tell us another joke,
it
Isaac.
It matched the quality of my delivery of that joke.
Tell us another joke.
Why did the skeleton cross the road?
Why?
Because he's all bones. Oh, but they liked it.
You see how that works? It took them a second, then they acclimated to it.
See? My joke did make sense.
Somebody's got a big announcement.
Oh, you can just keep it rolling. Spam it. Did you trigger the symbol too?
Yeah, that's the...
Nice.
Yeah.
Also velocity
If it goes even further, I got the nice ta-da in there. Pitch to match the theme song, in case it's ever part of that.
Oh.
Thought ahead to that.
Should we if we printed that onto the theme song? Maybe on like an intro animation if we ever had one?
Ooh, yeah, I like that. The reveal of the graphics.
Yeah. I feel like there's a video game that uses that sound a lot too.
It's the generic one.
It's lovable.
Yeah.
It's the Wilhelm scream of congratulations sound.
It's so funny that you said that.
Oh, shit.
I brought some animal friends into our little ecosystem here.
Monkey.
You were
Monkey.
you were spot on.
Dude, I know.
I have monkey business.
I know.
I'm so stoked to bring this in. There's going to be a time where the bees are the perfect thing to have.
That's so funny.
For when we do like
Where did you think to add that?
I was thinking of the funniest animal sounds out of all the ones to have.
Sound of some bees.
And I thought of you with both of those. Turns out in the way that I was searching for real quick animal noises, I could not find a good. First of all, I learned when monkeys do the hoo, 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 I learned that that's called a pant hoot. That's the like scientific name of that
Why
thing.
does it have to be so close to a pantsuit?
Yep.
Why?
Pant hoot in a pantsuit. That should be a rap lyric for someone.
If any female comedians want to join our podcast under the name Pant Hoot Pantsuit. No, sorry, I mixed those around. Yes, dude. Well done. I have full faith in your ability to run this.
Yep, I'm not nearly there yet, but I'm getting started.
Now the pressure's on me to come up with enough outrageous things for you to be able to just execute with that.
So the one that I'm very excited about is just nice. And that's gonna be good for
Is that the Hector Salamanca bell?
it's just a ding. It's just a bell. What I'm gonna get you on is if you start listing stuff. You're gonna be like, I packed the XLR cables. I packed the 1/4-inch cables. I packed the PA system. I'm gonna hit you with the bell on all of those.
You could also use it if I was like, oh, what was the name of that song? Was it like new diamonds, new was it new emeralds? Was it new gold? I was really counting on you to hit it on that one.
On New Gold. I was
No, it's okay. It was the first thing that popped in my mind. Very obscure. I
half sure what you were talking about.
I should have said like a John Mayer one, like your body is a mountain range. Your body's a beautiful meadow. Fuck. Your body is sky full of stars. Our body is a wonderland.
I can't wait, dude.
That's great.
Oh, that's gonna be really good.
Wait, how do you have those grouped then?
So the bottom row is all like audience and reaction kind of sounds. And then my second row here, I mean, when I fill it up more, I can categorize it further. But
yeah,
my second row is like nonsensical noises from animals or abstract things.
So like sound effects.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure. The FX row.
Okay.
Speaking of which, is that what you really wanted to say?
Oh, that's good. That's really good.
That one is jarring when I hit the pad at full force.
Yeah, that's judging by the way the TV is shaking right now. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Please tell me you have the censorship beep.
I thought of that today. When I
okay.
heard it on a different thing I was listening to, and I was like, oh, that one will be hilarious for like us to just censor ourselves as we go through stuff we're saying.
It's funny. You can actually make one really easy. You just add a channel to your recording strip, add the plugin called Tone Generator, pick the sine wave tone, go to whatever note that is. That's somewhere around 440, right?
Man, you and Jay are the frequency masters like that.
It's like, what's the censorship tone? Do you like? I couldn't pick it out because it's like,
I'm hearing a C sharp in my head. Let's look it up.
Yeah, censorship tone, and I'm sure it's different, over time. But there's like that generic, the pitch of that note.
Ready?
Did you find it? Okay.
B.
It's a B.
It's a B.
Yeah.
Okay, that's easy.
Yeah. What is the well, I can search that. Hold on.
Yeah.
What's the frequency? What is the frequency of a B? That's probably like a B5.
Probably. I'm so bad at like what middle C is and
Frequency of a B note. Even if it gives us the fundamental, that'll be okay. 246 is a B3. So
440 is A4.
Yeah.
So I bet it's B4.
It's a pitch higher.
Yeah. Would that be B4 or B5?
B5.
So A is the last in the series of numbers that go along with each of those tones?
Let's see. I think it says right here. So A4 is 440.
Yeah, B4 is 493.88.
Okay, so I think it's
That's funny. It changes over. Oh, it changes at C because of middle C.
Oh, dude, I think that's what it is. I think it's B5 because 1K is 1,000 kilohertz. So that's like right on what this. It's like just about at that. So I bet that note actually isn't a B. It's somewhere in between a B5 and a C6.
Yeah.
That is funny though. That's the B and the C is the differentiator between the numbers.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Middle C.
Wow. I didn't intentionally say that like, oh, well, I swear to God.
That's my fault. I said it so many times like that earlier tonight. Ready for another great one for skit moments?
Yeah. Nice.
This one, the boom works for that, but it also works for like the
dramatic. We need to have a video guy before we can do that because it requires the like intense camera, like
yeah,
the crazy pan over.
And then my personal, I'm ready to find the perfect moments for. I don't know why the bowling pins makes me so happy.
Could I request we find a little bit more high definition version? Can you play it one more time?
I had a hard time hunting down the bowling pin noise that I hear on the radio show I love, at least on like just stuff that was easy to grab and download quickly.
I bet we could find one from like a bowling competition or something that's like pretty well recorded.
Oh, yeah.
I bet they put microphones down at the end of those bowling alleys on TV so you can hear the pin noise really well.
Yeah, probably. Most bowling, if it's just like sound effect of bowling or like strike, you hear like.
I may be wrong. That works pretty well.
We'll get acclimated to it.
I'm becoming a much bigger fan of that after hearing it a couple of times.
I went looking for the sound of falling downstairs too, and like I couldn't find the one that I was imagining that was funny.
Okay.
And then finally.
Well, is there like human suffering sounds involved in that?
No. It's like when they in a cartoon when they animate someone falling down the stairs, that's the sound that I was going for, and then
I say fuppity fuppity fuppity.
Right, and it's not really fuppity fuppity, but it's a funny sounding clump of bangs over and over again.
The guys who did that Foley sound effect recording just had a sack of potatoes in a scarecrow, just threw it down the stairs.
And then most of the time too, it's not as long as I want.
Oh, right.
Because if you fall down any normal stairway, it's not going to take more than a second or two of sound. But I was like, I want a comedic, like falling down an entire stairwell of stairs.
Down the corner, all the way down to the bottom, hitting the door, everything.
I also got 3. These are probably my least favorite, but I feel like they will come in handy. I've labeled them Boink 1, Boink 2, and Boink 3. Ready?
Okay.
That one's great.
Yeah.
Then a really quick, that one.
That's good.
And finally,
please. Yes.
That's the one that also works great after.
That's perfect.
The falling noise one, I get to watch the waveform, so I know when to hit the the one that lands.
That's excellent, dude. I like that one a lot.
Thanks, man. That's all I got for now. That's what the homework I did this week.
Oh, sick. Okay, awesome.
But ultimately, what I want to do is, as we go along, we're gonna say hilarious shit here. And then I'm going to want to jump back into that audio, grab the clean samples that sound good, and then put, in some quadrant of this, just EJ and Izzy samples. And
do you know what I just realized that's going to make this even easier?
What?
I'm recording our stems in Ableton now. So I don't even have to I don't have to export anything. I can just send you the folder.
Yeah.
Wow. That's going to make post-processing easy.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
The Ableton Show. It's all running on Ableton.
No. We'll call it that if they pay us a lot of money.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna operate with some restraint here. Gonna get acclimated. Gonna find the right moments. Ultimately, I think I will want non-velocity, but also like it'll be nice to have like very quiet. You know, I could touch it very, very lightly and have something in the background that we could just talk over.
It's a good idea.
And that'd be good.
That's a good idea. Have you considered putting any musical loops in there?
Well, we've got the theme song, of course, which is just one navigation over from here.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we'll get there. That's the other thing though is I guess I'm just imagining that there's less trouble to get into with some of these sounds because they're just so short.
Right.
I would not want to, but you know, I've got all of the sample collections, of course, that you've hooked up for me.
I have to give you
that's what
part of your Christmas
That's
gift.
what I was about to ask. Yeah.
Oh my God.
You got me some new Ableton collections for looping and beat making. So
here, I might actually be able to airdrop it to you. Is your hard drive plugged in?
It sure is, dude.
Yeah. All right, check this out. Let me pull it up in my Finder. This is called the All You Need. Let me just move so I can see it. Okay.
Ooh.
So this came from a larger pack on the Drum Broker called the All You Need, like Complete or something.
Cool.
And it had like a bunch of other files in it that weren't relevant to you, like instrument creator softwares for like MIDI instruments, plugins. Mm-hmm. So it allowed you to actually pick out the parts of the kit that you wanted. Mm-hmm. And if I remember, this is the drum kit from that sample pack and the one-shot kit from that sample pack. So this is 400 megs coming your way.
Cool, man. I'll keep a lookout.
And I really liked what I heard from the demo.
Sweet.
There you are. Okay. Sorry, my computer's been having a hard time, and it's recording right now, which is remarkable. It's going great, by the way.
Hey, hey, it's doing a great job. Everybody agrees.
I'm so proud of you. I was just thinking about when I was going to buy my next laptop, and ooh. I definitely think it's going to be sometime by the end of this year.
Cool.
I don't think this one's going to hold up till then, unless I either replace the battery, which I suspect has a lot to do with what's wrong with the performance. But now that the sound card's fried, it's really hard for me to use it conveniently anymore. So, yeah, it's kind of should just live here. I wouldn't have an issue with it actually just living right here.
Yeah.
So, I will say. Okay,
become
and
a
now,
subservient machine.
I did just, yes, that is me. Subservient machine. And then here's another sample kit that I got for free. That's called Pad Thai.
Ooh. That would have been a great time for a gong. Boing. Why don't I have a gong?
Do you want me to write this down?
That was stupid. Yeah.
If get gong.
Gong and
sound.
What was the other one?
Beep. Sensor beep.
Yeah, the sensor beep for sure. Should have had that one.
Sensor beep. Easy. Did you get it?
The second one?
Oh,
I don't know.
I didn't hit send.
There it is.
Sorry.
Yep. Marco Polo Pad Thai.
Oh, I also have another one for you. Sorry.
Oh.
I don't know how these got all spread out. This one's called...
Hey, man. Send me more free stuff, please.
This one's called The 44th Floor. Textures, Percussion, Accents. I really haven't played with any of these yet because I got all this at Christmas time and I was super busy.
Cool.
All right, here we go. Come on, where's your name? Here we go, airdrop. Okay.
Cool.
Sick. So, happy late Christmas.
Thanks, bro.
And cheers to you putting those to our next beat.
Yeah, man.
But we should talk about New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
We should really talk about New Year's Eve because that was sick.
It was pretty awesome, man.
Off the Rails is my favorite venue in Worcester.
Yeah.
I think that's easy at this point for me to say.
Yeah.
I also think Cara Brindisi could be one of the best singer-songwriters in the city as well.
Oh, that's easy too.
Yeah, very easy.
Yeah.
She absolutely crushed that opening set. From a sound engineer's perspective, she was an absolute pleasure to mix. And I'm not just saying that to gas her up. Like, she sang really consistently, which is super helpful for me. She also sang really loud and was clear. And while it makes it hard to get the lipstick stains out of the microphone the next day, she was like right on top of the mic, which is so good for an engineer. Like,
are you joking around, or was that your experience cleaning up?
oh no, that happens all the time.
I've never given that a single thought.
Oh yeah, dude. We had when I was learning
glitter?
a lot. Oh yeah, it's the worst. Oh, it's the worst. When I was learning all this stuff at college, man, we would have a couple people come through the theater that their mouth would be like all over that thing.
Yeah.
And it was just like, sometimes if they're wearing like black lipstick too, it like looks like the mic got like, you know, corroded or something. It's crazy looking.
Is this cursed?
Yeah, no, it's but fortunately those dust caps are pretty easy to clean and you can replace them really quickly. And I mean, they're not like an off the shelf product. Like you couldn't walk in a Guitar Center and be like, I need an SM58 dust cap. But like, you know, you can get them and you can also service them yourself pretty easily.
My Telefunken M80 makes it a nice, easy replacement.
Yeah.
They're not crazy expensive either. They're like $25 or $30 or something.
Yeah, the Shores are like 15. You know?
Yeah.
Pretty simple. And I might be totally wrong on that. The last time I asked, they were like 15, but
yeah,
whatever. But anyway, Cara did awesome from my
she did.
perspective. Her performance was great. All the songs she chose, I think, were really fun. Good dynamics between the different songs, good mixture of strumming and like plucking guitar styles. It was great.
Yeah.
But what did you think? Any particular things you wanted to talk about from her set?
Oh, we were, green rooming
Oh,
while that was going on.
I always forget you guys aren't like right behind me.
Yeah.
when like the opener is on, it's just me out there. Yeah.
Yeah, green room is still kind of a new thing for us. Because most of every other place we play, it's, you know, there's just one spot where the music's happening, and then there's everywhere else in whatever room it is. So,
Right.
Even though Off the Rails has a tiny green room, it's still the kind of green room that I like to kind of I really like to. No, I'll say it this way: I hate to set up and sound check right up until start time and then pretty much have to just go right into playing for people.
Oh, that's my least favorite thing on the entire planet. Yeah.
And that's not at all what we had on New Year's. It's just that I do like to, when the resource is there, to like kind of meditatively decompress right before you're supposed to walk out and play.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that option every time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But we did listen from the green room, and she killed it.
Are you guys, can you look down through that window up top?
That's not part of the green room.
Oh.
That's like a monitor loft or something.
Okay. Can you watch it from the TV though in the green room? There's
that
no
might
camera?
be possible, but there's no evidence that TV turns on. I don't think it has a manual power button, and I actually ran my hand through the cushions of the couch to see if there was like a remote missing.
No remote?
No remote that I could find. But that would make sense to have that, be that way.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I hate to lead with something like this, but it's a very small green room for a place that's putting on usually like a full ensemble on stage. Although no,
you're not saying anything wrong. That's what it is.
I love Off the Rails. I really, really, really love them. I hate to just even sound a little critical. But that's something that everyone kind of jokes around about. You know what? They have an enormous couch in a tiny room. If you're the only person in there, it's very, very, very comfortable. But like even two people is a crowd in that room, and there's nowhere to hang stuff. So it kind of, the couch ends up being like there's 2 people sitting on it, but there's also like 6 people's personal effects like spread out on the top of the couch and on the arms and stuff.
I feel that.
And several people are hanging things on hangers on the door handle on the back side of the door. And so like, but we were joking with like Kara and her crew about that. We kept we kept going up to the green room and it was locked, but we'd knock and they let us in and they were like, getting ready or whatever. And
yeah.
But yeah, it made for a nice pre-show. Just, I mean, you'll see from Brandon's video and photo footage,
yeah.
but we had a great like walkout thing of like us all being in there and like, doing a little hands in cheer thing. And that felt great.
Could you shout out Brandon really fast? I think he deserves a ton of recognition for the content that's about to come out around this show.
He's a superhero, man.
He's one of my favorite people ever.
Yeah. Brandon Johnson, All Things Harmony. That was funny, dude. I got coffee with mom and dad downtown today, and I forget if it was mom or dad. They looked up from a sandwich bite and were like, "What is All Things Harmony? Is that like a show?" And I was like,
"Yes,
well, he is a show.
He is the
He's
best
the show." Yeah, our homie Brandon.
When did you guys start working with him for the first time?
So I know the year was. I mean, we met him sometime in 2015.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
we're almost coming up on 10 years.
Okay, easy.
Why is this a bad thing?
Well, I guess for some rough numbers, 7 years ago, in the early part of 2016, Brandon recorded Blue Light Bandits in the basement in Douglas. I believe it was like What You Started, A Little Love, Return of the Mac, which continues to be one of our highest streamed YouTube videos.
Yep.
And then
I remember this now.
Bittersweet Symphony. He did 4 videos. So, and I remember we were, I can't remember where the beginning of knowing and working with Brandon was, but it was leading up to that we were like, dude, do you want to you have all the gear. Do you want to come to our house and set up a multicam, live video shoot in our basement, in our practice space? And he was like, dude, I would love to. I'll give you a good rate because I'm kind of learning how all this stuff should work together and what cameras to use, what mics to use, how to light this thing. And it was sick. For videos shot in a basement, they look and sound really solid.
Yeah, they do.
Even 7 years later. And yeah, ever since then, it's been there's been hardly anybody that we've worked with who's done camera work the way that Brandon does.
His only flaw is that he's too busy to work with us.
Like, where are you going with this? No, you're right.
He's too busy to work with us all the time.
Well, that's what's been really nice about doing New Year's was we got to catch up in person extensively, and it sounds like he is going to be around at least enough next year to be part of a lot of big stuff that Blue Light Bandits has coming up on the calendar.
I can't wait, dude.
Which is great. But
I can't wait.
I've just always loved his personal touch, not just in the filming of things, but in the editing and the execution. Yeah. That little did you see the thing he made, the little reel recap of New Year's?
I did. It was awesome.
He just, he'll animate our logo just on his own in a way that's that was so subtle and so nice.
Just using an easy wipe in, wipe out that's so tasteful and appropriate. And you wouldn't even notice it if you we're just looking at Blue Light Bandits incoming content as top of the line professional content. Here it comes. That's what I would expect.
Yep.
But to us, it's oh, that's sick.
Yeah, dude. He's got the touch. He's got the he's like I don't even give it a second's thought. He's just part of the hang with us too.
Oh yeah.
He's the man. We both love Bodega. Shop there all the time. He gave me the nickname the Bodega Bandit at the end of the night on New Year's Eve, which I fell real hard into that.
The Bodega Bandit. The Bates Bodega Bandit.
We connected over a lot. Told me all about what he's got coming up this year, which is very exciting for him, but he loves working with us, and that feeling is super mutual. So yeah, man, we've been lucky to work with a bunch of different people, yourself included, in this arena. And he's just so great, man. I was stoked we brought him in.
He's on the Dream Tour bus.
Oh yeah.
We should talk about the Dream Tour bus.
Yeah, we should. We should have Jay for that conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. Jay's influence on who would drive the Dream Tour bus is very important.
Yeah. We've been over that a few times.
I think only twice, but they were spaced out between moments in Blue Light Bandit's career that were like, I don't want to say pivotal, but like moments where that was the sort of thing that was kind of like, this could be the next step to that being closer in the future. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Jay's criteria is also very interesting. It's stuff that I would have not thought about. For him,
meaning the like equipment we would bring, or the vessel that we would travel in,
who the crew is, what their bus jobs are.
Yeah, that makes sense.
For Jay, he said, I think pretty succinctly that like if you're driving a rig that big, you should have more or less 1 million miles on the road, like to feel like this person's got no problem driving this thing under any circumstance.
You're saying the driver should have 1 million miles of experience.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, 1 million seems like that's pretty crazy. That's like, I mean, I think you have to have been a full-time big rig driver to get to 1 million in your life. You have to have done that every day.
If that's what it takes.
Can you drive 1,000 miles in a day comfortably?
You know what? 1,000 miles in a day? Yeah, I guess if you were only on interstates the whole time. Hold on. How many miles does a truck driver drive in a day average? You like that little discrepancy? How many miles can truck drivers drive in one day? This is interesting. All right. Although this isn't... What website is this?
I don't know, but that's Futura font.
10 consecutive... This is... I just need an answer. 500. 500.
I mean, I'm reading that on some website I've never seen before.
Well, a truck driver can be expected to travel roughly 5. Okay, yeah. That's enough of a rough finger in the wind estimate that I was looking for. Okay.
So let's say you drive 500 miles a day, 5 days a week. You're at 2,500 miles for a week. That's, let's do this math, baby.
52. 52 weeks in a year.
Yeah. So 5 times 50 times 2,500. That's going to be...
what? Ask the robot.
What's 52 times 2,500?
Oh, I thought they were going to say it out loud. 130,000. Fuck. Hey, don't give me that shit. I don't have a sampler. I just have this. It's not enough.
What was the number?
God damn it.
No! Come on!
We'll check the record.
Was it 125,000?
No. Sorry, what was the math
No?
again? What was the math again?
52 times 2,500.
What's 52 times 2,500? 130,000.
Okay. So that means that, that's like, 8-9 years of full-time driving gets you up there. That's not a lot of people. That's people who probably are doing that job for trucking companies or transportation companies. So that's that. I mean, but this is Jay Ferris who's grown up in this. So that's an extremely high bar for this type of a thing.
You're saying there are few people that drive trucks year round?
No. I'm saying, so that's the pool of people who you could say 10-ish years of full-time big rig driving. You've clocked 1 million miles on the road.
Oh.
Now, of those people, how many of those people would drive a band's tour bus around? And then from that pool, how many of those people do we actually know or have access to on a personal level? And I'm saying that's extremely small.
Yeah. No, I get that. That makes sense.
The only person that Jay mentioned is Eric Ferris.
That's an easy yes for me.
Jay's father.
Frankly. But I don't know how Jay would like and I'm not saying this because I'm trying to analyze anyone's relationship with anyone's parents, but like having a parent on board a tour, I'm sure changes the dynamic for that individual severely versus what it would be otherwise. So I don't know, like that's such a deep, interesting, personal level decision to make when you're planning out a tour.
Yeah.
But I also feel like a lot of bands probably aren't blessed enough to have supportive families like we do, who would actually be willing to go on tour with them, you know?
Right.
That's, yeah.
Plus, I mean, like, I think it's probably safe to say up to a very high level of touring success, a crew like ours, which fluctuates between 6 and 10 people for any type of show that we're doing.
Ideally, we could have 12, but 10.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not one vehicle. I mean,
no, that's
not one reasonable vehicle.
Well, when we saw Young the Giant, they were in 2 buses. Remember?
That was 2 buses just for them?
Yeah, they had a crew bus and they had a band bus.
Crew bus and band bus, yeah. And we assume they were all sleeping on the band tour bus.
Yeah, and most well-equipped tour
6
buses.
6 bunks?
8 bunks.
Okay.
There's 2 sides, each with 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. Yeah.
And then if there's a master, I'm sure, I mean, people do custom buses too. So like
right.
you can get them in whatever shape and size you want. But I think ideally it's that middle row.
Yep.
Is the big, how big is a twin bed?
Oh, I don't know, man.
Whatever the dimensions are. It's like 2 of those on top. So it's
6 feet by 3 or 4 feet.
Yeah. A better way to think of it is like 2 bunk beds on either side of the wall.
Yeah.
And then you get the curtains and you get the hallway and
manager John needs a slightly longer slot for the bunk bed.
We just cut 2 holes. And his feet just stay in the wall, and we'll put little socks permanently in there so they're just
that's sticking out into the shower of the bathroom.
Oh no. Or like outside the bus. So there's just wind like whipping.
Hey, he runs hot. It's nice and cool.
Yeah. It's active cool. It's an active radiator. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, tour bus talk is fun, man. Someday, hopefully.
Yeah. But anyway, back to the show. So Kara crushed it, and then you guys came out. You came out to Circles by Incubus.
I chose that on the fly that day.
That was fun. I think that was good hype music, but I did think going into Highest was like kind of a little bit of a shift of vibe.
Yeah.
Maybe took the audience by surprise, but in general, I think the audience was kind of like captivated by you guys musically more so than like just let your stuff go and dance.
Yeah.
So it was, you know.
We walked out to When the Levee Breaks back in June, and I had a really hard time topping that song.
It's kind of perfect.
It's like the perfect walkout song. It's got major balls, and it's so classic.
It's also got a lot of open space in the intro.
Yep.
So
it just kind of hangs. It starts and it plateau hangs, and that gives us time to put our guitars on and make it our ears plugged in.
And even when the lyrics do come in, they're very subdued.
There's a moth.
Keeps on raining.
Sorry.
Oh, look at that.
There's a moth.
Can we see him in the video? You just wanted to use that.
No, it's up there. I see. Oh, well, he's on the ceiling now. He was flying up around.
We can't see him in the video, so we're fine.
Yeah, sorry. There's a moth, everyone. My bad.
That's hilarious.
I used to live in this room. Dealt with it at the time.
It's been relatively moth-free, actually.
That's good.
But anyway, so you guys came out to Circles by Incubus, which was sick.
Personal favorite of mine.
Opened up with Highest, such a good intro song. Or as we like to call it, In the News.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've told you the full origin story of that, right?
I think I might have been there for the intro, the origin story of that.
I had 2 ear training classes at Syracuse in the music school, and the first one was mad serious, and we had like a departmental chair do that one, and that was I appreciated this.
How did you have a 4-legged chair teach your class? I'm so proud of you. Thank you.
No. Thank you. He was cool. He hit our whole freshman class with like this is the most important class you'll take in music school, ear training, so that when you hear music, you know what's happening and you can very quickly find your place in that and be able to tell me what key we're in, where, like, you know, what tempo, what time signature we're in, all the important basic aspects. And like half my class was sobbing at the midterms and exams of this class, being like, I'm not gonna get through your training. It's not fair. And I was like, dude, that's sort of like, how are you gonna go through music school and be like, yeah, I kind of suck at it? That's like getting your driver's license and being like, yeah, I
actually can't drive.
I have to use the e-brake because I don't do brake pedals. You know?
Okay, that's a better analogy.
And it's like, you're missing. That's like,
yeah.
This is the important part of this is foundational to what you're doing. Anyway, and it was hard, dude. Like, we would have to, we'd have to come in and have these. We had these 2-part homework assignments, like an upper line and a lower line, and we'd have to be able to play one line and sing the other line at the same time, and then flip them and do both. So these were hard. Like, they took a long time to practice and get good at.
Jeez. Okay.
And then the next year training class, I just had a different professor. Also awesome, but he was just very, like, just way chill about all of it. And when he went through like learning your typical 2-note intervals on just real quick, like, what interval is this? He was giving us like pop culture references for certain intervals. That's like whenever you get to tritone, na na, like the awkward, the one that sounds bad, the only one that sounds like truly bad when you do the 2 notes,
the one that represents the devil.
They always give you either The Simpsons or Maria from West Side Story.
Yep,
are always the 2 examples.
That's
there.
what I was told. Yep.
But he when he did fourths, he's like, and you guys know what fourths sound like, right? And he just went to the piano and played like all fourths all the way up in like 2 full hands of fourths, and he just went da 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 in the news, right? In the news. Da, 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 da. And I laughed personally about that.
Sorry, I wasn't there for this. I thought Dan made that joke when you were all in the jam room in the Douglas house.
It is something we all laughed about, dude. But that's what like that song was born from.
That's so funny.
Was
in the news, right?
I forget how we were. I was telling that same story that I just told you, but to Dan and Mike and Ricky at the time, and we were all laughing about it.
Yeah.
And then Dan started jamming on it, and we were like, all right.
Well,
added the bass line, added the drum part, added the ba-ba-ba-ba, like all of those parts just fell into place.
I love the bass line you wrote for that one. Like,
it's just NBC.
Boom, boom, doo.
It's NBC. Also the news.
What better way to do the news than take from the news?
Yeah.
I love that track, man.
I like bringing it back, having Eli play the percussion on it. I could say that about almost every song, but like that one in particular, the texture, that the chimes, the shaker, the tam, all that stuff all put together, like, oh, it's such a nice thing. Originally, we had hoped to end the show with Highest as well, like, and the Prince song, and then like do one more like shout out to Kara while she walked off stage, and then kind of jam on Highest like one more time for like 30 seconds to kind of do a full circle thing.
Yeah.
But as you saw, like coordinating the end of a set around the countdown and New Year's and everything is just.
I'm glad you're bringing that up.
Yeah,
because that was like, there was no point where I felt like anything looked bad, but I could see that you guys lost sync.
Yep.
As soon as that happened, because I saw you trying to get Kara's attention to say, time's up. And then she couldn't see you because she was engaged with the audience because she's like up front. And Simon didn't, he cut when you said we got to cut.
I went like, yeah. I said some shit like that into the microphone because it was an emergency at that point.
It didn't come through in the house, just so you know.
Cool.
That's.
I know people saw me do this.
Yeah. But Simon cut, and then he came back again. And I think that gave Kara the encouragement to keep going because she gave him a look like, why are you cutting? Because she had no idea you were trying to signal.
Yeah.
And then at that point, you resolved it very nicely. Like, you did like one more 8-bar section or something. And then you all realized we have to stop right now because when she saw you, you were like, countdown. Trailed off. And then somebody said, like, here we go. 3. You started at 3, which is fine.
Yeah.
Always starting at 10 is traditional, but who cares?
I wanted us to do 10, and I just realized that without being obnoxious into the microphone, being like, all right, everyone, so it's about that time. And I had already missed it. I was watching, I had just a browser countdown open on my phone, and I saw the new year happen, and we hadn't even counted down yet. And
okay.
And so at a certain point in listening to the music, I don't know. We finished what we had rehearsed with Kara. I felt so bad because like Kara crushed it, not just with us in practice, but like doing her homework, making sure she had all those cues ready and everything.
Killed it. It was
so
sick.
It was so uncomfortable to have to interrupt all that to do the stupid. I mean, you kind of summed it up. Like once we hit midnight, it kind of stopped being like our show, and it turned back into like, oh yeah, this is why this is all happening is because it's New Year's.
Yeah.
And you know my feelings on I'm very like unceremonious about
me too
about holidays like New Year's Eve. So it was frustrating to have to like give up this musical presentation that we'd rehearsed for so many weeks to like just get the whole thing over with and whatever. But
I totally understand, man, and I agree.
I want to give credit to Dan at Off the Rails and his team because we joked afterward about how they did all this cool stuff that we didn't expect. They did the balloon reveal,
the balloon drop.
Above the truss.
They made that decision last minute.
Yeah, and we
so crazy.
They didn't touch base with us
guys.
at all. And I told Dan like, yeah, it was funny, man. Like I don't know if anybody really noticed, but like we counted down to the new year after it had already happened because we kind of just went over what we had expected to do for time. And he was like, yeah, it's funny. We were all talking about the balloons, and I was like, are we gonna do it when it actually happens? And he was like, no, I'm gonna wait till the band leads everybody into the new year. So they did the perfect thing.
Yep.
Those balloons were sick. They were like halfway between balloons and beach balls. The way they were heavy but like still floaty kind of balloons.
That was giving me and Brandon trouble. People were purposely throwing those balloons at his cameras.
Oh,
and it was really shitty to see. They're a lot just drunk.
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah. When you see like 5 dead-eyed, drunk, thick dudes just being idiots throwing balloons at like cameras,
yeah,
you just want to like hop over the board and like just be like, what the fuck? You motherfucker, you. We need that drop too.
Oh.
Not the full sample. But yeah, no, that was getting me a little bothered, and people were hitting me in the face with them. Like they would turn around and like, just slap it right in your face. And when you're looking down at the board, it ricochets down on the faders, and those balloons had enough mass to move faders. So I was starting to like put my arms over the board to protect it, and it was like, maybe we should have gone full lighter balloon, dude, but I also wouldn't have thought of that in real time.
New Year's is one of those. It's why so few, like at the top of the food chain, successful musicians do New Year's Eve stuff, because it's such a stupid holiday that encourages like the worst behavior, and
it's a drinking holiday for sure.
Yeah, and
not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just you get to observe way more obnoxiousness than you normally would.
If it were up to me, like from a pure artistic, like passion-driven standpoint, I would never want to work on New Year's Eve.
Right.
It's a stupid day to have to go work, but it's, extremely profitable and for what we're trying to do, like, establish ourselves as like, you're in Worcester, you want to go out on New Year's Eve and see live music.
We're the premier group to go see.
Well, those are your words, not mine.
That's fine. Why the weak one? What?
Because I don't feel it the way. No, I'm just kidding.
Fuck you.
But yeah, if it were up to me, like we would have. If it was up to me, I would spend New Year's Eve watching the Stooges and like calling it at 12:30. And
that does sound nice.
But it's a good. There's a lot of funny memes across many genres of music that are like between December 1 and January 1, you make like half your money gigging for the year as a musician because of all the religious stuff that needs music and all of the party-based stuff that needs music and
all the traditions that need.
But those, like, not the religious church stuff, but the parties around December and January, they're awful. They're, generally speaking, they're awful because it's when people who have money just unwind in an irresponsible way. And
no, definitely it's.
But yeah, not to cloud it. It all went very, very, very well thanks to an amazing team, an amazing job,
amazing band.
Oh, well, thank you. Amazing
venue,
support act, amazing venue,
amazing photography support.
Yeah. So we're gonna start slowly leaking out all the photos and video clips that Brandon got from the show, because that does, even if that last several minutes of time was a little tense for us on the back end, it looked amazing.
Yeah.
Whether Brandon was behind us or in front of us, like, the room was awesome. People really were going for it with the dancing, and
we should try to get all of
really
those
cool.
people on at some point. Like, even Dan Jordan. I bet he would be great to have on the show.
Oh yeah, I love talking to Dan about this kind of stuff.
Yeah, me too. I gotta go pick up the disco ball tomorrow.
Yeah.
My 20 inch.
You said they're thinking of investing in their own disco ball.
They already did.
Oh, that's great.
I think JDI picked one out for him, like a really serious one.
Can you look up what the biggest one that you can buy is?
There is no limit. What's the largest spherical object you can hang? That's how big it can be. Like, what's the largest?
I guess from a consumer standpoint.
Oh, I guess at 30. If you're trying to treat consumer on, like, it needs to be able to ship in a standard delivery vehicle that a package would arrive at your door in, you're probably limiting yourself at 30 inches, 30-inch diameter. Professionally speaking, though, no limit. You can, like, I'm sure you could get like a 12-foot disco ball.
Yeah. Well, the
Which is
Casey and the
insane.
Sunshine Band story, right?
No. What is this?
Very early on, BLB got booked for this awesome gig through Pretty Polly.
Oh, the big show where you opened up for KC and the Sunshine Band and they had a giant disco ball?
It's generous to put it that way, but yeah, we played as a band that was part of this grand opening of a couple car dealerships on Route 1 in Massachusetts. Right. And we were, like, playing in the first room. In the second room was Otis Day.
Otis Day and the Knights?
Yes, Otis Day and the Knights. And
you make me
they did shout and stuff. In the third room, at the end of the night, it was Casey and the Sunshine Band. And we heard just on the back end that their rider for the stage said, provide the biggest disco ball that you can find.
Oh, that's so awesome.
And through John, we knew that, like, they were hunting down a disco ball. So they brought one, but then Casey and the Sunshine Band showed up and they were like, that's cute, but we do tour with one that is bigger than almost any disco ball. That we basically just do that to see if anyone we tour through can come up with a disco ball bigger than the one that we have.
That's
but
nuts.
Nobody ever does. They just used their own and it was enormous.
That's absolutely nuts. I'd actually be curious to see that, because if I were
I bet if you Google images of Casey and the Sunshine Band live from recent, you'd see it. Of all the bands that should have the biggest disco ball you can find, they deserve to have it, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That third picture is nuts.
I mean,
I know that's not the disco ball, but... Oh, that is.
It's pretty big, but it's not...
It's high up if it was closer to them.
I'm going to search disco ball.
Oh, it's the poster.
So that's it?
Dude, that's big. It's way high above them.
Yeah, no, you're right. I bet that's probably like 50 or 60 inches.
Yeah.
That looks like it's probably too wide to wrap your arms around. That could have been really bad if this was full.
It's, dude, when I expect a bunch of noise when a cup falls, this is silent.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's great.
Ableton's doing great, by the way. It's recording this audio like a champ.
Dude, fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's definitely wider than you can get your arms around.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that makes sense.
I do want to see the Black Keys one.
Oh yeah. Let me be
when they
your everlasting light.
That's pretty fucking big, dude.
It sucks they only do it for that one song. I don't know if they don't. I mean,
dude,
from my experience.
Look at that's the scale.
Yeah. Well, you don't know how far in the foreground that is. That picture right next to it, though, from
Why
YouTube.
would they hang the disco ball out closer to you?
Dude, that's like 12
Holy
spots on it.
Crap. Yeah, that's
Wow.
That's awesome.
Someday, man.
Yeah, definitely someday. Yeah, off the rails was projecting stars onto yours, which was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Love the way that worked out.
We're gonna have to pull that in. You know those little campers that are just a little, like
not a tortoiseshell camper, a teardrop camper.
Teardrop. That's actually what I thought it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
The bus will have to pull one of those just to house the disco ball.
Yeah, no, 100%. I bet the case they have for that is actually like just a really big cube-shaped case, but it can be that big because it's really light. Most of it's just air, you know?
Yeah.
That's why I was going to ask if it like came in like hemispheres. You know what I mean? Like you screw it together in the middle.
Yeah.
The fact it's got the mirroring all around it means there's a crease that would be invisible, so...
Yeah.
Maybe I should design a giant ass assemblable disco ball for musicians.
Yeah. I like that idea a lot.
It's just
send it.
storing them is the hardest thing you can possibly do.
Yeah.
Mine, I can't believe I actually thought buying mine was a good idea, but I'm really happy I did.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, it kicked ass on New Year's, as did everything else, and
we've used it 3 New Years in a row, right? We did Lucky's the first time where I had it on the ground and everyone was bumping into it and it was giving me a heart attack.
Yeah.
Then we did it the next year at Bill's Bar, live streaming the Lucky's.
Oh, it was great.
And it was like up on this.
Yep.
It was just a prop
Yep.
for the live stream. And
then last year we got COVID, so there was no New Year's.
Yep. And then this year we had it in a real lighting grid.
Yeah.
Which was awesome.
Pretty fantastic.
I'm talking off mic over here.
But yeah, man, Jay was saying too, we're averaging like 2 shows a year at Off the Rails, like a summer and a winter. So like the gist of this generally is like, I would love to play Off the Rails around this time of year, but not necessarily for that exact reason. There's a lot of things about New Year's Eve that annoy me, but it made for a really full room. Everybody had a good time to the extent that we can tell, and moved some merch, luckily. And people are stoked for the music we got coming out next year. So it was a good time to preview a bunch of that for them.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's a lot to look forward to.
You guys played all the new stuff, right?
Most of it.
Yeah.
The new songs that are finished enough to play, we played them.
So good.
90 minutes of music is a long time.
90 minutes of original music is a long time.
Right. That's what I mean.
Dude, it was really good.
It was fun. There's certain points where, again, like it's hard for me to ignore the reason that a lot of people are there. So there's definitely like it's risky because some of our new songs are like 7 or 8 minutes long with the extended sections. So I definitely get a little tense about like anyone who's like testing this show out on us is maybe like, I hope their attention is still there.
I felt like it was. I felt like it absolutely was. How did you feel when someone compared your sound to that of like Rush?
Awesome.
I think that's a really neat comparison too.
It is.
Because it's like jazz-inspired rock.
Yeah.
Like jazz and funk-inspired rock. Right?
Sorry, I inhaled to say something and then you know how it goes. No, dude, the music aesthetically speaking, the greatest compliments we've received lately have been comparisons to Steely Dan and Rush, because those are bands that they turn off some people, but for the right reasons, I think, because those are the bands that inspire us the hardest, at least these days. And so yeah, to hear that about one of the new songs that we played was like that's ideal.
Yeah,
that's where we were coming from with that. So
absolutely,
so that's great to hear that from people. But
I think everyone's gonna really like the new stuff. It does sound really different from your last record.
Yeah.
Like Hot Wax was so like, it was like the 70s stepped through a time machine into 2022 into our basement and was like, do you mind if we hang out for like a weekend and like lay down a few tracks and maybe influence some others that you already had in the oven? But this new stuff feels like, the word fusion sounds wrong coming out of my mouth.
Sure.
But it's got like,
I also want pad thai. For the second time since one of your sample packs was also called that.
God damn it.
Thanks, everyone.
No. Boo. 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 That's not good. You're not allowed to support yourself with an invisible audience. I have no one back here but this. I'm all alone. No.
But yeah, well done, man. Ran the board beautifully. And
thanks, bro.
We had an awesome night. Hope you did too.
I sure did. It was, yeah, it's, I get really stressed out before high risk shows.
Yeah.
And by high risk, I just mean that the consequences are
high stakes.
High stakes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Much better. It gives me like really bad anxiety leading up to a show when I think that I'm not prepared if something goes wrong. But just every minute leading up to that show, it was like I had already kind of premeditated what could go wrong and felt confident that I had done everything in my power to make sure those things didn't happen.
Yeah.
And none of it did.
Yeah.
You know, the only thing that I would go back and do is add 3 inches of rock foam or rock wool around the entire inside of that venue so it's not as echoey. But that's part of the love of doing live sound. It's like every room is a different puzzle, and you just have to you just got to figure out how to massage it the right way so it works. And if some people thought it was too loud, you know, it's like,
I didn't hear that.
I'm glad, because I was pretty uncomfortable with how loud it was. But
wow,
that's okay, because I didn't hear feedback once. So
I feel like too loud is only a problem when it's bad too loud.
Ooh.
And if it was too loud, I would say it was good too loud. We did the work
True.
to make sure that it was at least good, you know?
True. I was thinking, they make a thing called a sub kick. You know what that is?
No.
All right. You ever watch The Roots play on Jimmy Fallon?
Yeah.
You know how Questlove has that little tiny kick drum he hangs out in front of his kick?
Oh, yeah.
That's called a sub kick. It's really interesting, actually. It's made out of a speaker cone that's aiming at the kick drum, and the air pressure from the kick drum moving with the beater actually pushes the speaker cone and moves it in its magnet. And people hook that up to an XLR plug like it's a big microphone, because it's essentially the same thing as a dynamic microphone capsule. It's a diaphragm moving between a magnet, so it's creating a current. And the funny thing about these speaker cones is it's not doing that as a mimic of the kick drum head. The speaker cone is actually vibrating at its own resonant frequency, the same way a room does when feedback occurs. So it's actually closer to playing a synthesizer and adding an ultra low synth note sine wave at the very bottom of the kick channel, more so than just being a really low end friendly microphone that you can put in front of a kick. So it's a way that some people add a giant thump to their sound. And I do really like that Audix. I think it's the C4. Maybe it's a D4. I can't remember what that kick drum mic model is called, but that one I've always been very fond of for getting a pre-EQ'd kick drum sound. And I was really happy with how it was working at the show, but there were moments where I really wanted to crank you guys up in that low end range, and that L Acoustics rig in that room would be able to crush that. Yeah. And having a sub kick would just be a fun tool to play with next time we do a show. So I was thinking one of those might be a fun addition for next time.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah. But next time I may do no overheads. I had the overhead mics shut off pretty much the whole time. I rode the hi-hat pretty carefully depending on how splashy Simon was with the open hi-hat.
Yeah.
Eli, I had like really, really neat in the middle. So
cool.
Center channel was boosted. His left and rights, where he had kind of his accent instruments, were pulled back. That's kind of where he kept his crashes. but the middle was his conga station, so I had that channel pushed up. That was great. All of Eli's stuff cut through really well. His low tom was really loud though, so every time he hit the low tom, I had to pull him back quick. I started the show off actually with Jay, like really quiet. The highest, his I like almost couldn't hear it when we started the show, so I frantically was like turning his channel up. But then as the show went on, I was frantically pulling his channel down.
The rig warmed up.
Yeah, the rig did warm up. But man, that sounded good. That tone is just undeniably excellent. Bass was great after we fixed that problem. Let's quickly review this.
Yeah.
During soundcheck, we hunted for probably 20 minutes to try to figure out why there was a hum coming out of your bass rig. And one day on this podcast, I bet we'll go into more detail about your bass rig, because that's something I'd like everyone to know about, but I don't want to go into it now because we're already running on hour and 5 minutes. Woo! Pretty sick. We were looking for this buzz that was coming out of your signal chain for so long, and you've got a wireless pack, you've got a pretty sophisticated pedal board, you've got a bass amp that's been having mysterious electrical problems over the last couple of years. Like, there were a lot of things that may have been odd here, and we're in a venue that we're not familiar with the power situation is, so the wall power could have been a problem too. We hunted down every variable from ground lifts to extra cables to DI boxes to splitters to everything we could. Yeah, missed opportunity, Ethan.
I know.
Your
Damn
first fail. Shame. Shame.
It was a full troubleshoot.
Yeah.
A truly full troubleshoot.
And we had finally arrived on, all right, we're just going to put a noise gate at the very end or at the very front of Ethan's signal chain, so when he's not playing the bass, it's quiet, but then as soon as he makes any sound, you can hear the hiss again. And that bothered me from a fundamental level, because I want fidelity, and I want as much of the definition to come through. What are you waiting to push? I can see you over there.
Tell the story.
And then I'm walking around with Jay up on stage in our free time, just trying to think, what the hell could this be? And as I'm walking over Eli's drum riser, we walk past and his fan's running. All right. I take back the shade. That was worth it. Well done. And yeah, he's got a little 8-inch fan that's running, and it's and the first thing I thought was I really don't want to get my hopes up because we had tried so many things, but I just yanked the cord out and there was a giant crack that just echoed through the whole system, and all you guys were at the bar and you looked up, and then sure enough, it was gone immediately. And that's not the first time that you've had your bass signal get affected by a running fan in the same power strip.
Yeah, I would say I'm on both sides of that. It's really important to have some fresh moving air at a lot of different types of gigs that you play,
but plugged into a different
but
outlet.
You got to figure out it doesn't matter how many extension cords you bring with you got to figure out how to make sure that's getting the right or pulling power from the right place, so that it doesn't lead to mysterious sound situations.
What's that mysterious clicking noise?
I will say it's a familiar sound.
That is a familiar sound.
This is
just
familiar
like
sounds.
Us. I'd say that's a pretty good place to wrap it up,
Probably
man.
a pretty good place to wrap it up.
I loved getting to chat with you though, dude. What a great year, and I think 2023 is going to be outstanding, frankly.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to what shows we have coming up and more episodes of this.
Sure is, man.
Yeah, dude.
I have one plug.
Cheers. Yeah.
For anyone who might be listening by this point, Friday, January 27th, Blue Light Bandits is playing Mercury Lounge in New York City.
So sick.
It's an early show. We hit stage around 8 p.m. Big Honey and Jimmy Denny opening up the show.
Hell yeah.
Gonna see all the New York homies there. And Ethan Bates Orchestra on Instagram.
Bad Luck, Good Vibes, Instagram. And if you want to send us any suggestions of things to talk about, send us an email. go over to
familiarsoundspodcast@gmail.com.
I'm gonna be talking to you there.
Night, everybody. Night, bro.
Night, bro. Hey, brother.
Hey, brother.